See ya.
Okay. After a few technical difficulties, we've started the podcast 27 minutes later than we thought we were going to do it. And
Is that like or that's a record so far, is it?
yeah, that's not too,
Yeah, a record as how early it is.
Yeah, as in the best we've done.
and we are, well, despite what it looks like, we are trying to get some sort of consistency to the posting. But we're recording this on a Monday. Post the last one on a Thursday. The first one was on a Wednesday. So you'll get them weekly. Just don't know what day of the week you're going to get them at the minute. But the
The
idea is
podcast mystery box.
the mystery box, yeah, box of chocolates. So, and I'm back with the full Brittany mic, which I've gotten a lot of good comments for before. So,
You won't let anyone else have one.
it was cutting out the last time I didn't use a mic, so I thought I'll just I'll try it this time again. But yeah, we're going to talk about the weekend's golf action and
No.
no, yeah, we are. That's the only consistent thing about this podcast. It's the weekly golf updates, and then we're going to talk about how to make it on tour. And of course, me and Kemp are going to take the lead on that one, and
Yeah.
probably
Leave it to
Jordan,
me.
Rob, and Jordan, you could probably drop off at that stage. So
We'll ask the questions.
yeah, ask the questions. So without further ado, yeah, let's have a recap of the weekend's action. I think Jordan especially was across it compared to us. So
I love the golf. So let's start on the PGA Tour because you boys obviously didn't watch it. I didn't watch much of it, but I watched enough to know that Xander Schauffele won by one over Max Grierson.
even I knew that.
I knew
Yeah,
that.
but Max Grierson nearly holed out on the last from 182 yards to force a playoff, so he could hit it like a foot. So I thought that was pretty cool. That takes Xander Schauffele up to 62.1 million US dollars in career earnings. Would you believe that?
That is unbelievable.
That's a lot of money, right?
Is that what
But
Scotty Scheffler's caddies made this year, is it?
story of the final round was actually Matt McCarthy was 12 under playing the last, and it's a par 71, and all he has to do is par the last to shoot 59, and he hit it out of bounds.
Oh.
Did
He
he?
hit it out of bounds, and then he made birdie with his second ball.
It was the most.
60.
It was the most deflated man I've ever seen walk towards the 18th green, going to have a putt for 60 in my life.
So he was 12 under, bogeyed the last after hitting one out of bounds. I mean, to shoot
Where did
60 must
where did he hit it? Did you watch the shot, the tee shot?
Yeah, just hit it way left. It's like 260 out of bounds, and
Just a
then,
straight
yeah,
toe snapper, gone.
yeah, just straight left. And I was no, he's just straight left. And yeah, I just thought to myself, that's got to be the worst way to shoot 60 ever.
Yeah.
You never. He's going to walk off disappointed with a 60.
I've been the most disappointed man on that golf course, and there'll be boys that shot over par, and he shot 60, shot 11 on the par, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Anytime I've been going for a 59, I've never had an OB on the last, so
Yeah.
I've got that on him.
That's a stat you can keep.
To be fair, Ethan, the ninth hole isn't usually the last hole.
There's actually no out of bounds on the night for Burgess, so you're
Yeah,
Yeah.
He did it everywhere there.
He did lose a ball there yesterday.
Well, no, I didn't lose a ball. I found a ball and it was screwed because we're family friendly. It was, I know, it was not good. in amongst the grass, the greenkeeper's cuttings, by the way, which Jordan loves, and the ball was buried in there, and I was like trying to get to it. I tried to hit it as hard as I could because there was no direct line out the trees. Hit the tree, came down stymied, tried again, and thought it's a friendly game. I'll just pack it up.
Picked it up.
Or otherwise, it would have been a 59, obviously. So
Yeah.
Obviously.
And what about it being in Japan, the PGA Tour? I mean, is that something you're going to see more often in the future?
love it. More
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Need more big events around the world. I think
Agreed.
golf
We
is
need-
becoming too zonal.
yeah.
British Open, the US stuff, and
I mean-
and the others. You need to. Yeah, we need to. The game needs to get more global.
I mean, a lot of people talk about moving the PGA around the PGA Championship, kind of playing it at Royal Melbourne or wherever. Like, we keep moving it around the world instead of having
Move it around. That's a great shout. Yeah, that'll be for another episode maybe.
Yeah, but the problem with that is it's the PGA of America, so you'll never get
they're
the
not going
PGA
to
of
lose
America
that,
to agree to do that. Yeah, I mean, there's the Australia event coming up, and Rory's playing it. I think there's a couple other big players playing. But
it's great seeing the boys now. Actually, the Live Golf, one of the positives of it is that the boys are now starting to, the top players, you know, John Ram has come and played a few events. He's going to play a few events around the world. Shane Lowry is going to, and Fleetwood, I think they're going to India. The boys are like trying to disperse their schedule, play more around the world, bring golf to give back to the game a bit, which is good. And I'm sure they're getting it back in their bank account.
I know they're doing it all free of charge, Rob. They're just doing it out of the goodness of their hearts.
Yeah.
Shane Lowry, the game.
From the good of his heart, decided, you know what, India just seems like
go there for the crack. Yeah. So that was a PGA Tour, and we had the DP World Tour Open de España. Make sure you pronounce it correctly. Open de España, and then
Spanish Open.
Spanish Open. There we go. I didn't know you were native, Jordan. That was pretty good.
Catalunya, me.
And we had Marco Penge come out on top, and Jordan, maybe you're the best man. I think Rob, maybe you saw a bit of it as well. So
I did, yeah, because the Swiss boy Joel Gerbach, he was in contention there, and Switzerland, we haven't had. We've only had one winner on tour ever. Andre Big Andy Bossert got our maiden and only win on tour, and it was cancelled after 36 holes due to weather. So that's our only and best performance on tour ever. And Joel was in contention there for the Spanish to be the first DP tour winner from Switzerland over 72 holes. So it was really exciting. We were playing practice round yesterday and for this tournament, and everyone was just on the phones. Just when he made a putt on 13 or 14 to tie the lead, and you could hear shouts from all different parts of the golf course. Boys just echoing, going, "Come on, Joel!" And then obviously he just came up one short, but what a performance! And then just shows that golf. Like, if you go on great golf courses like the Spanish Open, you know, it was won only on 15 under, but like, you got Marco Penge, who's a bomber. You had Dan Brown, who's more his approach play is unbelievable. That would be his strength. And you got Joel, who's fairly short off the tee but very straight. So you got three pretty much completely different golfers there. And that's just the beauty of our sport, and it's the beauty of like really good golf courses where you can have three boys with a completely different game coming down pretty much neck and neck down the last few holes. I thought that was great, like a great advert for the game as well.
Good stuff. Great. Well,
watching Marco Penge hit a driver must be one of the best things on planet Earth to watch right now. I mean, see this drive in the playoff was 194 mile an hour ball speed. Like, sorry.
Did you see where that carried?
I know. Honestly, I was like, it's too much club as well.
Yeah.
That's what the commentator said. He was like, it might be too much club. Sorry, it's uphill and it's like 330.
He's not held back there, has he?
No, his average. I think his average driving distance this year is like 319 and a half yards, which is ridiculous. So
he has, by the looks of it, I mean, from what I've seen on social media, he does have even his physio kind of comes around with him.
Yeah, he's got a good team, I think.
He has a very good team, and he does a lot of work in the gym from what I've seen, and it looks like he's doing different things than what other people are doing. Maybe because he is a bit of an athlete. But
I mean, he is an athlete. I mean, he absolutely rips it, and my good God, it won't be the end, and it will definitely won't be his last win on the DP World Tour, if not the PGA Tour next year, because that's secured his card.
He's
it's a big win.
34th in the world rankings already now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How quickly has that gone since he made that putt to keep his card?
Mental. 15-footer to keep his playing rights.
15-footer? Jesus, no wonder your putting stats are so good, Kevin. I think it was like 5.5 feet, but
it was a good, it was a good 6 feet.
I missed so many 15-footers today.
Round it up to 10.
Into the Masters, into the Open. So that's pretty cool.
Mad game, one shot, and then your whole career can be on such a different trajectory.
Yeah. And he's quite close to Rory in the rankings now
as well. Yeah,
which is seriously that could be crazy.
That'll be great in the year golf as well. Just last 2 or 3 years, someone's always kind of ran away with it.
Yeah.
So it's good to have something a bit closer. I think they need to rethink how they're doing the point system and how the finals done and stuff. Like try and make it somehow exciting.
But yeah, Rory's tough one though, because when you do the tour championship and they all start fresh and it's all zeroed out, I think that's rubbish.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Oh, that's another episode.
They're struggling so hard. PGA Tour, aren't they? You can see they're desperate for something to work, and nothing. Yeah. They haven't had an exciting tour final since Tiger won.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the match play format to finish it?
I love it. Do
you reckon?
Yeah, I think the WGC didn't work as good because it's a WGC. And it's great, but it wasn't it's not a big enough event for it to be match play. It works for the amateur and the USAM because it's such a big prize to win. And if you go these boys are going head to head for $20 million.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Dollars. You got the intensity there regardless.
Yeah.
The intensity isn't as high there for a WGC, but if you got obviously it wouldn't be as
it's certain players. I mean, arguably the two best golfers of our kind of modern era, Tiger and Scheffler, aren't very good at match play, and it kind of puts those boys. They struggle. So it's maybe the best golfer might not win. You might come up against someone who's off the heater.
Didn't Scheffler win the WGC match play?
Well, overall, isn't very good match play.
And I'm pretty sure Tiger's won it a few times as well.
Yeah, but overall, he's not a very good match player.
It's fine. They're playing their own ball. They're not playing foursomes. They're all right.
Yeah, 15 majors, but you're not a very good match play player. So, yeah. But no, I know you get your point.
Compared to his singles, I'll leave that.
That's true. That's true.
But you can make it a format where if you finish first in the points ranking before the final, if you're first before the final, you get two buys. You skip the first and the second round.
Mm-hmm.
If you're top second to fifth or whatever, or second to eighth, gets to skip one round, and you get boys from 10th to 30th, they play each other in the first round. You can do something like that.
Yeah.
And that would then you get Scotty, you get Scheffler and the top boys already straight through to the round 16 or the quarters, and it's and they coming in, so it gets a bit more exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Right, so we're going to get into the main crux of the episode, which is how to make it on tour. I think that's what the title is going to be. And seeing as we have two tour pros, and I say two tour pros because we've got a recent announcement from Jordan. He did put an Instagram post up that looked like him and Kempo were getting married, but that's not actually what the new chapter meant. Jordan, if you want to expand on what the new chapter actually is.
I was quite worried that you got the wrong end of the stick for our little drink session we had.
I think I finished with a black and white photo of you two, and it was here's to a new chapter or something. Yeah, the kissing part kind of give it away as well.
Yeah,
that made it really confusing.
You didn't have to use
I didn't want to post that picture just in case.
Yeah, make it a bit more suggestive than just you kissing. But Jordan, so tell us.
So I've been sponsored, so I am going to be a full-time golfer, practicing, preparing, playing, doing winter tours up until the start of, up until about March or April next year, and then do some satellite tours within the UK next year, and then different Q schools towards the end of next year. So we'll do DPQ school next year, and then Asian tour school next year as well. So that all kind of kicks off at the start of next year. So I've got a little bit of work to do, and then it'll be flat out golf, which I'm pretty excited for because it's the first time in my life I've ever actually kind of had the opportunity to do it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. So I thought that was a good timing to have an episode about tour golf. maybe I think a lot of golfers maybe don't understand the many routes you can take to get onto the DP World Tour. And Rob has played in several qualifying stages. Jordan played in one this year and is obviously going to do it next year. So I was hoping we are going to do a bit of an overview of that process, and then also the difference in level, what you guys can see from the players you play with, and then maybe comparing it right down to like we all were at the same golf team. You were on the scholarship. Me and James weren't, but how you two are now playing full time golf, and me and Kemp weren't. So what's going wrong for us two? So
How long do we got?
yeah, well, about the last bit.
Series.
So yeah, without I keep saying without further ado, I need to stop doing that. But Jordan, I think we're gonna focus more on the European golf side. I mean, the PGA Tour, you got PGA Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, but I think for us, the European stuff is more relevant. So, Jordan, do you want to give us a bit of an overview of the different tours potentially? You've got many tours in Scotland, and yeah, from the bottom all the way up
Yeah.
to the elite level.
So yeah, you've got like what's called like your satellite tours, which are like your country tours. So there's like the Tartan Tour in Scotland, and there's got like the Clutch Pro Tour in England. Cheers, Rob.
This is seamless as always. We see Rob. He's a nice shorts you've got on as well.
Oh, Jesus!
He's away. He's had enough.
He doesn't know.
Mate, are you just throwing plates? What's going on?
Oh,
He's absolutely lost the plot. Anyway, so you've got like satellite tours. So you've got Tartan Tour in Scotland. You've got the Clutch Pro Tour in England. And then you've got like the Pro Golf Tour in Germany. You've got the Alps Tour, which is like Italy and that kind of area. And they all offer Challenge Tour starts for like the Order of Merit and stuff. So it's all about just, again, these events aren't great money. So it's all about what invites they offer, because you're not going to necessarily make money, but it's the chance to like just move up the ladder. So like, for example, Tartan and Clutch, at the end of their Order of Merit, they'll offer Challenge Tour cards. There'll be different winter tours and stuff in Spain and Portugal that offer Challenge Tour starts as well. So it's basically just not playing for the money, playing for the starts, and see if you can just progress up that way, because you're actually probably not going to make any money until you get to like Challenge or DP World Tour anyway. So you're better off just playing the events that are offering starts and things like that. So
yeah. Rob, is there anything you'd add to that? I mean, you were listening intently there for the past 3 minutes, so you must have a lot of comments.
Sorry,
why are you sweating?
Got kicked out. Making we're laughing too much for this. It's not okay to have fun. Like, so no, basically, your kind of career really, if you're wanting to make it, only kicks off once you really get onto the Challenge Tour. That's when you can really you're touching distance away. You're really that's when you really can kind of see where you're going, what the level is at, and that's the kind of the one of the tricky bits once you turn professional, is how to make it onto that Challenge Tour, which is just obviously you must have mentioned it, Jordan, which is a second division of pro golf and in Europe. And to do that, yeah, you can there's actually many ways to make it onto the Challenge Tour, but yeah, that's the main bit. Like, that's your priority, is to try and get there. You can get it through. You can get a Challenge Tour card through the DP World Tour Q School. If you get, I mean, obviously you play DP World Tour School to make it to DP World Tour, but only 20 guys this year get a card, and then the next 20 after them get a Challenge Tour card, and that's just as huge. So even if you don't finish 20th, there's still a lot to play for. If you finished 30th or 35th, getting that Challenge Tour card really gets you on that first big step in your career, and that's absolutely huge. So you can do it through the Q School that way. You can get it exactly through the satellite tours, which Jordan explained, the top 5. In some satellites tour gets you a Challenge Tour card, or the top 3 on Clutch, top 2 in Scotland. So I mean, to get to finish top five or top three or top two, you got to play some really, really good golf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say for those obviously most people that listen to us, the millions out there, your majority of them are golfers to understand. As an amateur, of course, you don't make any money. That's why you're an amateur. When you're a pro, you can either become a professional, a teaching professional, or a term professional. What Jordan did for a while is a bit of both, where you work in the shop, but also playing events. So then to go from and you can turn pro off a handicap of 4. So there's like a big, and we'll talk about like the progression between turning pro off 4 to then playing like a pro-am, for example. You could have 4 handicappers essentially playing a pro-am as a pro, but from there, the best way to understand the level of the golfer is the tours that are on. So you go on to the satellite tour, which Jordan was talking about, where you could have the Tartan or the Clutch Pro Tour. And if we started those tours to begin with, the ones who play full time on the Tartan Tour, for example, in Scotland, how far away are they to a scratch golfer in your mind?
Miles away.
Yeah,
Like
well,
miles ahead, because it's their job, right? So as soon as you start treating it like your job, it's like you need to be good at your job. Whereas you can be a scratch golfer and have be like a hobby and play like once a week, right? Um, it's it's really just like the easy stuff they do really really well. You know, it's not making silly bogeys. It's making a lot of making a lot of birdies, and it's not making like a lot not a lot of bogeys, but it's a lot easier to play less bad golf than it is to play more good golf. So they make less bogeys more frequently than your average scratch handicapper who might make 4 or 5 bogeys around, whereas they're like maybe making 0, 1, or 2 or whatever. Um, and it's the also the opportunity that these full time golfers have. It's like they have a that they have a chance of shooting like 6, 7, 8, 9 under par. You know,
mhm.
scratch golfers will be doing seriously well to shoot 3 or 4 these days. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Anything else, Rob, you would say? I mean, we're probably a good base level here because me and Kempo play off +1. Um, so on paper we're better than scratch golfers, but we do play a lot of events. Um, but yeah, I mean, from my understanding, not playing full-time pro golf, the biggest difference is, as you say, people go all a 5 handicapper in the scratch, and you have people who are off 4 or 5 and claim to be scratch golfers, but over 4 rounds on a tough
Yeah.
golf course, the scratch golfer might beat them by literally 20 shots.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think a +1 or +2 golfer would make a cut on a
no,
satellite tour event
yeah, I think that's the level that people
over
don't understand.
the season.
Without us playing very well, we have to bring out our best stuff to make the cut.
Yeah,
We're
It would
talking
have to be
one
like
under,
your
one under level on a tough course.
yeah,
Mm.
but then you got the pin positions also that like are maybe 2 or 3 shots tougher than a normal amateur setup. So your even or 1 under is actually a 3, 4 under with the pin positions
hmm
that we get set up on tour and
Mm.
even on the satellite tours. So yeah, you'd have to be you might get one special week and make one
Yeah.
cut. Oh, but that would be over the season, like over 15, 16 events.
From what I've
That's
seen, I mean,
that's what a +1, +2 handicap. Yeah.
yeah, I caddied for Jordan last week, and obviously we didn't have a good week, but it was the pins on the course. Ethan and I had played an event there earlier in the year, and the pins on that course that week were probably on average 15, 16 paces further back towards the green. The course was probably playing 300, 400 yards longer. And, they knew that's what the defense would be. So I know what I mean. They do set it up in a way that kind of makes it 2, 3 shots out around. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people as well when they think, I know we get the question sometimes of our at work events and they go, "Oh, you're off +1. Would you never think about turning pro?" And I think people don't understand the difference in level. Like Jordan's gonna laugh, but I might go out and play against Jordan and beat him once every 6 times, maybe
Once every 6 years.
6 times, maybe. Maybe beat him over that's over 18 holes, but over 72 holes. Like there is no
Yeah.
real competition, and I think people
Yeah.
don't realize that especially you have people who maybe play off 4 or 5, and they're like, "Oh, would you not turn pro?" And they're shooting 4 or 5 over around their home course, and you put them away. That just to go from your home course to an away course as a scratch golfer, never mind being a full-time golfer on a satellite tour, every week, going to different golf courses where it's different conditions, the grass is changing, the greens are different speed, all these factors, and you're having to consistently shoot under par. I think it's fair to say even these satellite tour events, the cut is mostly going to be under par. It might be two or three under par, and that's just to make the cut,
Yeah.
never mind lead.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the cut gets you nowhere. It's especially on satellite tour. If you want to turn pro and to make it, you have to know that you're able to shoot 17 or 18 under over 4 rounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you cannot do that, then there is no point. Like that's the standard.
the
Yeah. No,
standard,
That's
Rob.
the
completely
only
agree.
way that you're going to make it is if you're able to shoot 17 or 18 under for 4 rounds. You can shoot four or five one
Yeah.
time, that can be your best round or whatever, but you have to be able to shoot 17 or 18 for 4 rounds, and that's the standard of knowing if you can really make it as a pro or not. And if you've never really done that, then or even come close to that, then you know that that's it's not going to be for you, because to be able to move up from the satellite tour, you have to be able to win at least once, if not twice a year. And to do that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you have to shoot 17 or 18 under over,
Mhm.
if not 3 rounds, most of the time.
Yeah.
And that's the level you need just to make it onto Challenge Tour. This is not even getting up to DP World Tour. This is just to get up to Challenge Tour. Is you need to be able to shoot 17 or 18 under over 3 rounds of golf to be able to win or put yourself into contention. And that's
Yeah,
the that's
and
the
this is
yeah.
that's the difficulty with these satellite tours. Is I think we've discussed this, Jordan. Is that Tartan, for example, is probably, I don't know, you can have a go at, but probably 5 or 6 lads who could probably do well in the Challenge Tour, and there's only 2 cards that get anywhere. You know, the standard is incredibly good on these tours,
Yeah.
especially at the top half of the order of merit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, you got to think, like, most of these guys that are playing these events on satellite tours are the best golfers in their area.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So they're like
The last 5 years, sometimes, people who've
yeah,
not made the step.
yeah, they're the best golfers in, if you think of like the Tartan, you'll have the guys he's the best that are playing it. He's the best golfer around Aberdeen. He's the best golfer. You'll have maybe two or three that are the best golfers around Edinburgh.
Yeah.
You'll have and they're the guys that they're the best guys in amongst thousands and thousands of golfers, and they're still trying to fight just to make it on the Challenge Tour, and
Yeah.
that's the level.
yeah,
And then you get up the challenge. You might make it then the top five then, and again you get up the Challenge Tour, and then the level's gone from there to it is such a jump
yeah.
in level up
If we
to
talk
the
about that, because so Rob, you're coming back from injury on the Challenge Tour. Jordan, you're about to go full time on one of the satellite tours. Is it fair to say you're probably going to go full time on one of them? So
Yeah. Uh-huh.
between you two, what do you think? Because Rob, you've won on the satellite tours to then go to the Challenge Tour, or even actually just starting with Jordan, going from playing some events a year to now getting on the satellite tour. What is your goal, really? Obviously, it's to get the cards, but what is like your performance goal throughout the year? What do you think actually now you've got more time to practice that you actually have to sharpen up a bit better?
Yeah, because you know what, some people go into and go, oh, what part of your game do you need to get better? And I say all of it, because
Mm,
all of it needs to be better. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes when I'm obviously working and then practicing, I don't have time to practice absolutely everything. So it's like I've just got to practice the stuff that I'm not so good at. But now I've got actually time to practice everything, and everything's going to get better. So it's the preparation and the practice that I'm looking forward to the most. But I think next year, it's one of those things where it's like a ladder. I see it as like a ladder. So you've got to like win at one level, win at another level, win at a level above that. So if you can't win on a satellite tour, then you've got to reevaluate. But I think you've got to give it at least. Well, I'm going to give it at least 3 years to see what I can do. So you've got to give yourself the right amount of time and then do it properly, because you can't give yourself 1 year, because you can have like a bad year
Mhm.
and then just think you're not good enough. But you've actually got to give yourself time to, one, get used to the competition, two, get used to being in that environment, and then being used to that environment, then getting used to being in contention, then getting winning, then getting used to winning. So it's all like a ladder all the way up, and then that happens, and then it resets once you get to Challenge Tour, right?
yeah,
So once you've done it on the satellite tours, then you're going to the bottom of the Challenge Tour. Then you've got to make your way up that ladder. So yeah, it'll be really interesting, because I've never done full time golf before, so it'll be really interesting to see how good my game can actually get.
yeah.
So
It's one of those. It's going to be at an easy answer for a lot of things is that you just have to get good at winning. But I remember when our good friend Scott McPherson was getting quite good at university, and he wasn't getting ahead of himself, but he'd already finished top three in a couple of events, and he was speaking to Dean Robertson, our coach, about how to get better. And Dean said, winning starts from here. Here meaning the club championships at Alloa. Like saying you just need, although you've been playing well in these events, you just need to learn to win, and that means winning events that might seem really um, yeah, just in comparison to other events you play, they might seem quite small, but you just need to get used to winning and that winning
Yeah.
mentality, and that
Yeah.
kind of continues. And Jordan's won as a pro, and you've won pro-ams, won young pros as well. Jordan and Rob's won as on the satellite tours as well. But I suppose it all started from amateur as well, because you both won amateur events too. So, you have some people who are coming up the ranks wanting to turn pro, and they might be really good club golfers and they're playing off +4, +5 and better than me and Kemp. But do you just know that realistically they're not going to go on and make money? And I think that's what people struggle to understand if they've not played to that
Okay.
level before.
Yeah, you've got to learn to win. You're going to get used to winning, right? So as you've got to learn to win at every level, and that's what it's all about. It's like Luke Littler, right? I watched Luke Littler play the World Grand Prix of darts yesterday, and he beat Luke Humphries in the final. And then today, as in the day after, because that was
Mhm.
yesterday, he's playing in the World Youth Championships. Like
Yeah. How does he
he's
get
a world
himself out
champion.
of that?
He's a world champion. He's just won the Grand Prix, and now he's playing the World Youth Championships. Do you know what I mean? So I love that. I'm well up for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Tommy Fleetwood this season. He struggled to get over the line for so long because he kind of wasn't used to that condition. European Tour for him, he's won plenty of times, but he had to get used to putting himself in that situation before and then when he won, it almost looked easy because he'd
Yeah.
had so much that happened before it.
Yeah, but it's funny when I seen Tommy what he was going through. It reminded me of our coach, Dean Robertson, and our performance, our statistics guy, Graham Leslie. Great, the two of them were a great combo, and they had such good wisdom, and they let you figure it out. So at the first 2 years during my first 2 years in uni, I was in contention quite a bit, and I wasn't winning. And after every event, they'd ask me, why do you think you didn't win today?" And I was like, my driving's not good enough, to win." And then Dino would look at Graham, and Graham would look at me, and he'd go, "That's wrong." And I'd go, well, what is it? And they were like, "We won't tell you. You got to figure it out." And I was like,
It's like a riddle.
Cheers,
I was
coach.
like, Jesus, Christ. And then, okay, next week in contention. Okay, lose by one. Dino again. Okay, what happened? Why didn't you win? I was like, my putting's not good enough to win. Like, you need to be a good putter to win, and I'm just not quite there. And Graham then this time looked at Dino, and he was like, "What do you think, Dino?" And he was like, "I think it's wrong." Again.
Dino's got the easiest job in the world, hasn't he?
Yeah. And I'm like, just tell me what it is. And you're like, "We can't tell you, because if we tell you, you won't really know." And then when I ended up winning, then Dino took me aside, and he was like, "Okay, so what was the difference then this time? How did you win? Did you drive it better?" I was like, "No, no, um, just hit the shot that I needed to hit." And, "Okay, did you putt any better? Do you feel like a better putter?" I was like, "No, not really. Just felt like I was gonna make the putts." And I was like, "So what do you think really helped you win?" And I was like, "Oh, yo, the main difference is just that I really believed I was gonna win, and that is the main difference between winning and not winning. And then you gotta, but that's all you can only get through that through experience and getting into contention and
Mhm.
getting the nerves, and then you hit like a shot that's not great, but it's still fine, and you're like, under pressure, I'm not the best driver of the ball because there I hit a bad drive." And
Yeah.
it's like, no, that's not it. It's like, oh, I missed a 6 footer that would have put me in the playoff on 17, so I'm not a good enough putter because I missed that 6 footer. No, you're not. You're just not. You didn't over that 6 footer. You didn't believe enough that you were going to win this, and you gotta, you this was your time, and you gotta believe. You gotta so much self belief to be able to win. And that's what I felt with Tommy. That was the difference with him. Like, he went to America, and then obviously he knows how to win, but you get into a new environment and everything, and you just gotta relearn. He kept saying in his interviews afterwards, like, wrong club and we made a wrong, poor decision. But we felt watching him that he didn't really believe he was going to win. He was like getting
Yeah.
very frustrated, and it didn't look like. And then at the Tour Championship, you just saw like he looked in control of whatever was going to happen. He was going to hit bad drives, and he was still going to win, or he's going to miss some putts, and he was still going to win. And the guys who win are the guys who think, I can miss the next three putts and I'll still, or I can hit a bad drive and I'll still win. You don't have to play perfect golf to win. And
Yeah.
and that's like a huge, and you have to learn that then at every level. When Jordan when you'll go and you'll be in contention on the tartan, you'll go through that same thing. And but to do that, you gotta get into contention, and that's one of the hard parts.
Yeah.
So then going from the satellite tour, did you win once or twice on the pro golf tour, Rob?
Won twice. I played 2 full seasons on the Satellite Tour, Pro Golf Tour, and graduated twice from it, up to Challenge Tour. And
Great.
and the difference in level is no joke. Like
Well, we'll hand this
it's
bit over to you then.
Yeah. Yeah. You
it,
take this bit.
it's yeah, the pin positions they're hard on the pro golf, and then they are hard on the challenge tour. There's hard and there's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Is it like when you're looking at pin sheets? Obviously, I suppose in terms of the golf courses, what's the difference is it are better golf courses you're playing on the Challenge Tour much better than the Pro Golf Tour? Are they
Yeah, a
longer
little bit
or
as well.
what's
Yeah,
the
they're
difference?
they're they're not even that much longer. They're obviously they're a little bit better quality and such. Maybe a touch longer, and just a touch better prepared for tournament with like rough and they're I'd say they're playing maybe a shot and a half, 2 shots harder per round than satellite tour courses, probably at
Hmm.
least. And that's just through maybe rough and pin positions. So you got pin positions on satellite tours are maybe 2, 3 shots tougher, and then you get the pins on the challenge tour, and they're maybe 4 or 5 shots tougher
Yeah.
per round. And
Yeah.
they're 3 from the back,
Hmm.
4 from the left. They're in position. They're in places where you're standing on shots. You think they're in the water. It's a whole different level. Then that's where strategy comes into play massively, and that's where your ball striking comes into play. In then everything gets with pin positions like that. Everything um, gets put under the microscope a bit more. Like
Hmm.
everything needs to be just way more tight because you're aiming now 15 feet away from the pin.
Yeah.
So a good shot, you're hitting a good shot would be maybe 10, 15 feet from the pin. And that's, you're making that, percentage rise in putting. That's maybe like 30%. You're making that. So your good shots, you got 30% chance of making birdie. And then your bad shots, then your short game needs to be really good because the pins are so tucked around edges and stuff that, a standard chip on an amateur golf or they get even a bit tougher on the satellite tours. Then a standard chip is actually a quite difficult chip, and then a medium to hard chip is now an incredibly difficult chip when you go up on the tours. And this is what's kind of you don't really see too much, and just the quality of the short game you need is just
Yeah.
it's different gravy. So the to graduate from a satellite tour, what you really need is just really good driving. So your driving ability needs to be kind of up here, and then you just got to be, you have to be like a really good putter, and then you just have to have really the self confidence to go and win events.
Yeah.
Then you get to then the higher up in level you go, the better your driving needs to. Everything just needs to be better, but especially your driving and your short game. So every it's like every step up you go to challenge and then to
Mhm.
DP, your driving needs to go up a level, and then your
Hmm.
short game needs to go up a level. The
Yeah.
approach play doesn't really change that much in the terms like the skills you need, but the
Yeah.
skills you need from off the tee and then the skills you need in short game, those are the two huge differences every time you step up a tour.
But when you say short game, Rob, you mean you don't mean just around the greens. You mean like 120 and in, like wedges, like wedge play.
Not necessarily. It's really more like just around the like maybe
Right.
maybe like 80 and in, just to play different shots to, because let's
Yeah.
say on in amateur golf you got 70 or 80, you're just going to pick your club, you're going to hit your
Mhm.
shot, you're not going to think too much of what you're doing. Then you
Yeah.
got up to satellite tour and you're thinking, okay, I just need to just watch my spin a bit here, and then I might play a skipper to the back. And then once you get to that, then you go up a level on challenge, and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
need to make sure I'm landing this maybe 2 yards left of the pin, one hop, try and spin it right to take the slope coming in, and then you're thinking, okay, front pin, okay, need to try and play this high up in my stance, get the high launch, but need to kind of release that left wrist to get that extra spin, just to get that one bounce stop, because you really the greens are firmer, so then you need to start really controlling your spin so much. Then you might have to take an extra club for a back pin because you need to hit that low skipper.
Yeah.
And because the pin is like 3 from the back, you can't just go full lob wedge, because you're bringing trouble into play, and then you've got too much spin on the shot. So then you have to go a club up, and then you're hitting a shot that's landing 20, 25 feet, and you have to get that thing launching up the green and then grabbing. And
So the
that's
precision just
Yeah.
has to go. The precision has
yeah,
to go way up, and like you're playing.
your skill set,
If
needs
you're
to.
relating it to the like a good club golfer, I mean, I'm sure high handicappers as well have maybe played a Saturday competition with a scratch golfer who's went round and shot 69, and you go, it's probably less impressive than people expect it to be, but that's because
Exactly.
at that level you can hit driver, and you're probably the majority of the time going to have a 9 iron in, which are birdies for free, as we've been told, where you
Yeah,
can just hit it close. But if you're playing these long courses when the rough's thick as well, like the average par four could be 440 yards. So
Exactly.
all of a
The
sudden you're coming
consequences
in
are,
with
yeah,
longer club. You're not hitting like a pitch shot to 10 feet and you might hold two of them around to make your birdies. You're having to hit driver, 8 iron to a pin that's back left or back right, as Rob says, with runoffs. And all of a sudden you could hit a decent shot and have a 25-footer sliding around the corner. And all of a sudden, if you miss a fairway, you're laying up and you have to get up and down for par all the time. It's just a lot more precision.
yeah. But it's like, so the satellite tours, you have to be able to shoot 16, 17 under
Yeah.
for 3 rounds to win on slightly difficult courses. But then it's the same thing on challenge, where courses are playing maybe 2 shots, 2.5 shots tougher per round, but you still have to shoot 18 to 20 under for
Yeah, on the
4 rounds
leaderboard.
to
Yeah.
win. So the numbers stay the same, but it's getting more difficult. So can you start shooting 18 to 20 under on more difficult courses now? So you need and then an extra skill set to then, it's not about, oh, can I avoid bogeys and shoot 1 or 2 under. Sure, you can have the skill set for that, but can you shoot 4 rounds of 4 under in these more difficult conditions? You need on that that kind of challenge, you need an extra skill set, like if quite a few extra skill sets, to then be able to get into contention, to shoot 15 under for 3 rounds, to be able to then play for the title on the Sunday. And then once you go to the DP, I mean, I've only played a couple of events, but it's the same thing again. It's the level goes up, the level of difficulty goes up again, maybe 2.5 shots around,
Yeah.
or depending the courses, but like maybe like let's say 1.5 or 2 shots to the challenge tour. But then you still again have to shoot 18 to 15, in between 15 and 20 under for 4 rounds. So then it's again, the question is, it's not really how can you avoid making bogeys and doubles and shoot, finding your way. It's how can I shoot 18 under for for
Yeah.
4 rounds when the course is playing, DP compared to satellite, maybe 5 shots different, 5 shots tougher. So if you shot 18 under on a satellite, it'd really be like like 30 under for a DP World Tour player,
Yeah.
and
What would
and
you
that's
say, Rob? I mean, what's the difference between someone who's kind of in the upper echelons of challenge? What's the difference in standard between them and a decent DP World Tour player?
um
If at all. I mean, because obviously the challenge is
You got like JC Ritchie and Matteo Manacero on the tour for
Right.
years. Like you've got Chris Wood playing. He was Ryder
Yeah.
Cup player. Like what's
Yeah,
I mean, you look at
the gap.
Marco. Marco won the
Yeah,
challenge. I mean, 2 years ago, didn't he?
the
You know,
gap
he's obviously
between challenge and DP is a lot smaller than the gap
mm,
between satellite and challenge.
yeah,
got it. Yeah, of course.
It's
Yeah.
it's 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 a huge jump satellite to challenge tour because these are now you're mixing it up with guys that are tour professionals that travel every week. That's something you got to take into account. Satellite tours, you're playing the same grass. You're mostly playing
regional.
the conditions, whatnot. In challenge tour, 1 week you're playing in South Africa, then you're in India, then you're in Dubai. You know, the challenge tour is very similar to the DP already. That's why the gap
Get it.
is much narrower, and that's where experience plays a huge part, and that's where you see now like challenge tour graduates are doing really well on the DP World Tour at the minute because you're
Hmm.
not your lifestyle really doesn't change that much once you jump from challenge to the
Yeah,
DP. It's very much you're traveling, from one country to another, different grass, you're getting used to it. That experience from that side is very similar from
Yep.
challenge to DP, whereas from satellite to challenge, um, it's a completely different way of life,
Got it. Yeah.
and that's why like a lot of guys that go jump up from satellite tour to challenge tour struggle, and that's why you can see a lot of guys that actually jump up from challenge that make the top 20 up to DP World Tour. Like last year, I think 17 players out of the top 20 that graduated kept their cards on the DP World Tour from
Yeah.
the
hmm
challenge. So it just shows, and from satellite to challenge, I would say maybe 30% or 25% only keep a card. So it's just the way of life and getting used to the biggest challenge every week is just how far is the ball actually going here off this Bermuda
yeah,
grass?
Got it.
Uh,
Yeah.
does it jump
Different
out of this
climate.
lie
Yeah.
in the rough? And usually you're traveling on the Monday is your travel day, then you're playing one practice round on Tuesday. Maybe you're tired, so you only get maybe two 9 holes Tuesday and Wednesday
oh
to get used to a completely different grass, different weather, different temperature, and so you've got maybe 2 sets of 9 holes to figure out how far your ball's going, how is it landing on the greens, how to chip it off this grass. The sand being different, how are the ball rolling on the green can be different. Some greens break more than others depending on the type of grass. It's
Hmm.
so a putt that's like a cup for the same percent of break, so some greens just break more different speeds, and that's the real challenge that satellite tours players face once they go from a satellite tour up to challenge tour,
yeah,
and that's why a lot of top players end up actually sometimes struggling on moving up. You see these top amateurs. Yeah, same thing a bit with amateur golf. You can see sometimes everyone probably knows a top amateur that's gone into top level golf
hmm
and just completely struggled. And you're like, how is that possible? Like this guy was so good as an amateur.
yeah,
And it's just because it is amateur golf compared to pro golf is just so different. You're playing amateur golf, you're playing, mostly, it's the environment's quite similar, and you're playing a lot of stuff in Europe, and then but you're not playing around the world that much, and you're not changing grasses that much. But then you get to tour golf, and then you're playing 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
If they go to DP, you're playing Australia, South Africa, Mauritius, and then I don't know, China. And you've got they might be all Bermuda, but they're different types of Bermuda, and Po or whatever. And you've got to travel, and you're taking these 20-hour flights, and you got to figure out your caddy.
yeah,
And there's so
Yeah.
many things to figure out off the course as well. And
The little things like the hotel, the different beds, the different foods, the different climates that can really have an impact, especially on like a 4 week stretch. Obviously,
yeah.
not speaking from experience, but I can imagine that.
Yeah, I was going. Well, we're going to do an episode in the future. I think it'll be good about like a day in the life of a tour pro, and we can actually ask Rob and Jordan about what kind of goes on behind the scenes in the team and stuff you have. But I think we're doing pretty well for time. So I just kind of thought this in the spot, which is say me and Kemp, we're both playing off +1. Say we're trying to get next year off +3, +4, play a lot. I mean, we played a few big events this year, but wanting to play better, but at the same time we've got full-time jobs as well. from Jordan and Rob's perspective, what is your advice to us to get to a different level, and then maybe Rob, your advice to Jordan to get from satellite tour to challenge tour? So you can start with us two, and you can be as brutal as you want, starting with maybe my putting.
We'll take one each, will we, Jordan? We'll take one each.
Yeah,
Actually, I'll
I'll
take
do
it
the
back.
one.
Go easy, go easy.
I'll do the one that changed for me well, actually, the start of last year when I actually started playing some good golf in pro stuff is just being smart and sensible. Because when the flags are tucked or you've got courses and that, like for example, yes, just because you're a scratch golfer or a plus golfer doesn't mean you need to go for the flag with a 7-iron, right? Your 50% range is like 160 yards as a scratch golfer to actually just hit the green, right?
Hmm.
So if you hit the green, realistically, anything from about 150 yards and out, you have actually beaten the odds. So it's actually just being smart and sensible. It's always like playing the next shot before you played the one you've just played. So middle of the green never moves. Honestly,
I'm sick of
it
you saying
works so well for me with my iron play, and it's just a case of just playing. You know, the flag's a destination, not a target. So playing away from the flag sometimes is really way more beneficial. Yes, you might think your putting's worse, but your putting will only get worse because you're actually leading yourself putts for birdie instead of maybe scrambling and things like that. So then suddenly you're hitting more greens, you're making less bogeys because you're not
Hmm.
trying to not make up and down stuff. So
Jordan, would
actually
you say
just being
it's
sensible.
also like expectation management? I know we say our putting is bad, but in reality, obviously, 50% from 8 feet. So would you say it's
Yeah,
kind of so expectation management? And again, it might boil down to as well if we have a 7-iron in our hands. If you miss the green and we're getting angry at ourselves, is it really a bad shot?
yeah,
If you miss,
exactly. Yeah, 100%. It's just accepting that you are going to hit bad shots and actually just think about. I was always thinking about it. Okay, I should be doing this, should be doing that. When actually, if you think about it in your odds and your percentages and what you actually do, it's actually a lot higher. Well, it's a lot higher or a lot lower than you actually think. So, like
Mhm.
any putt that you miss outside 5 feet, you were meant to miss because there were the odds for like a
Yeah,
scratch golfer. So, if you have like a 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot putt, the odds are actually against you to hold it. So then suddenly you've got like a 10 foot putt, you've missed it. You've gone, oh, what's that all about? I've just missed the last 10 footers in a row. When actually the golf course doesn't owe you one. It just resets to whatever percentage it is anyway. It's not like just because you've missed two before, you've got a higher percentage chance of making this one because it's a completely different putt.
yeah,
So it's
That
like,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, think of it as like an odds or like a percentage and goes,
yeah,
okay, yes, I want to hit a good shot, but if I miss the green or if I miss this putt, I'm actually not. I wasn't meant to do that. It's not like I'm odds on to do that.
yeah. It's true. What do you think, Rob? Not necessarily for us two in particular, but or maybe if you want to do it in
No, this is
particular,
for you
but
two in particular as well, yeah.
to get from bearing in mind. But I suppose I mean me and Kemp were kind of aware of like we know the difference. I played Scottish stroke play this year, and Jordan caddied for me to qualify, and it was very much like just you just need to hit the green in the qualifiers. That was tough conditions. You just need to basically get on the green as soon as possible, pull a couple of putts, and that's all you need to do to qualify.
Yeah,
But then when
it
I
was on the
played the
last
actual
hole,
event,
wasn't it?
yeah,
Last
exactly.
hole at the qualifying.
And we just there's no B right, and I'm standing there going, I don't know if it's a par five going. I don't know, I might hit driver, or I'm not sure. Turned around, Jordan's already got the 2-iron out. He's like, you're hitting this 2-iron. Um, but then going from there to playing the Scottish stroke play where you have um like your guy, what's his name, Elliot something. He played the Water Cup this year. He won it.
Yeah.
Elliot Baker. He
Uh-huh.
won it. And like I remember playing the first round and shot like 3-4 over. Didn't play very well at all, but it was like the conditions were tough. The first 8 holes straight into wind, and there was like a 7 under, 6 under, 5 under, on like all in, and it was like this is unbelievable. Like the difference in level from boys basically playing full time amateur golf to me being a good golfer, but I just not holding. And the putting obviously from 6 feet and in is kind of non-negotiable, but they're hitting so many greens, and you think about your good rounds throughout the year, you almost come in going, it could have been better. And that kind of comes down to what you're saying, Jordan. It's just a numbers game. If you give yourself, and you always say, well, if I shot level par, for example, you'd be like, yeah, but how often were you like 10 feet or 6 feet away for birdie? And I'm like,
No,
yeah, not that often. So it just
like
comes kind of down to
just
the
less
numbers
bad
game.
golf, less
But then,
bad golf, and more good golf.
yeah, if I shot a
Mm.
few under, though, I'll be like, oh, it could have been better. And that's because I knew I was in position all the time to make birdies. So it just felt like it was going to drop. But Rob, what would you say?
For me, I think it's your driver has to be your best friend.
Mhm.
I think so many amateurs just get a six here, a six there, you know, chipping out sideways a few times, and they come in and they're like, "Oh, I putted so bad today."
Yeah.
The amount of times I
Yeah.
hear that, "Oh my God, my putter, my putter, my putter, my putter," and they've like you just seen them whacking out of trees all day, and it's like if you want to get to +4, +5, for me to get up to +3, +4, +5 handicap, the big difference, even for someone off plus of 20 down to 15, down to 8, down to 5, is count every time you play, count how many shots you've lost off the tee that day, or you feel like you've lost off the tee,
Mhm.
and it'll usually kind of tell you where your scoring
Yeah.
is at, and people just don't make people are so scared of their drivers. But if you're going to be any good at this game, and if you want to be better at this game, you have to step up with a driver, and you just have to love that thing. Like it brings you food and beer every evening after a tough day's work. Like that thing needs to be your bitch. And
Yeah, that was
and
so true actually. When Kemp caddied for me last week, we were playing like the fifth hole at Duddingston, and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's just like a 4-iron or a 3-iron just down the right hand side," and I just pulled driver because I was like, "Kemp, it's as wide with a 4-iron as it is with a driver, so I'm just gonna hit driver."
That's my
yeah,
mental game showing itself there, isn't it?
Yeah.
that's all.
That's you
That's
go. Oh, I'm just gonna nudge a 4-iron down there. I'm like, no, I'm hitting driver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
that's
you
once again
think,
that's that fear people have of their driver, and it's
yeah,
like
Yeah,
you you have to get through that, get the driver out on tough, tight holes, hit
yeah,
the bad shots,
yeah,
get used to taking driver in tough places. You
yeah,
see it so many times. People they see a little bit narrow up top or whatever, or maybe a bunker, and they're like, no, no, 2-iron, and then they've
hmm
got 6-iron in, and sometimes they'll hit a good one, and then but most of the time, you got 6 or 7 iron in.
yeah,
You maybe you're maybe at like 4.4, 4.5 average score for amateurs, even if you're off 2 or 3 handicap with a
yeah,
6-iron in your hands.
yeah,
So or 4.2, yeah,
yeah,
4.3. You have to, if you want to get yourself to the next level, no matter what handicap you are, you just have to be better off the tee. It's a good
yeah,
exercise
yeah,
every time you go out to count how many shots you've actually lost off the tee. Have like a driving scorecard and just write down, and then that's the first port, because
indicator.
the tee shot's always
yeah,
you're always teeing up the ball. It's flat. It's the same shot every time, so there's no real excuse
yeah.
to not get better at it. Really.
yeah,
I say this. I say this to a lot of people, right? See, when they're nervous about hitting driver, I go, yeah, but you can still hit a good drive.
Yeah,
Like you can
exactly.
still hit a good drive that splits a 5-yard or 10-yard fairway. So it's
yeah,
not like just because it's a tight hole, you're guaranteed to hit a bad drive. You know?
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think
I
it
think as
comes
you
back
got,
at any level. You need, and we know this. We have like friends who maybe off 5 or 6 and good golfers, but they're single-digit handicappers, but they're not going to be scratch golfers because they don't have a one-way miss, and that's kind of what it comes down to. Like,
Mhm.
I think at our level now, obviously, it's having a one-way miss. Me and Kemp would say we're playing with a randomer in an event, and then he'll hit a bad one, and we'll kind of turn around to him and go, "Oh, is that the bad one?" As if to say there is only one type of bad shot when you're a good golfer, which is going the same direction. If you're playing with someone who's in that left, right, left, right, I mean,
Yeah,
there's not really, you can't really play for it. And as you say, you might, even if driver's not your best friend, at least you can stand the tee going, I feel under pressure. My normal shot shape is a cut. If I'm a bit
hmm
further left and swing hard,
Yeah,
like it's gonna, that's what we did with you, Jordan, when you were playing under pressure
yeah,
at the Open, was just play to that one shot shape every single time. So
yeah. If you know where the ball's not gonna go,
yeah,
you can play golf. That's
yeah,
what I say. You can play
exactly.
golf for them.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yes.
so Rob, your words of wisdom to maybe not for an injury-free career on the Challenge Tour, but what would be your words of wisdom to get Jordan from satellite onto Challenge?
I think there's not much I can really. I mean, Jordan's been, he's been working for a while. He just needs to, exactly like, don't rush it. Like just and take. I mean, Jordan's a good player. Like he'll figure it out. You gotta figure it out in the right way. Don't stress the small bad things. Just make sure you're really good with driver. Really practice that, and then just win your time, and the time will come. Just it's not about being the guy that makes it through the satellite tours, through the challenge tour in any sport. Same with Marco. Marco had a few tough years or whatever, but the guys that keep pulling through are just the guys that have the best mindset. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real advice you can give except for you just have to have that different gravy mindset. You just
Yeah.
is just the difference. It'll make the bad weeks better. You know, I always remember the story of Rory. Rory was playing the Omega Masters up here in Switzerland in Crans-Montana, looking for his first DP World Tour win, and he had about 100 yards into the last. Yet, yeah, I think he needed par to win, and for his first win on tour, I think he was like 18 or 19.
Mhm.
And the pressure of him of the superstar, you know, you got to get your first win. This is your moment, or what, you know, a big moment for him. Wedges it too long, chips it up to like 3 feet, misses, goes into the playoff with a French player, loses the playoff against the French guy, and I heard a story from the French guy that ended up beating Rory in the playoff. That he went up to him at the celebrate at the prize giving, and he said, "Oh, sorry about that one, Rory, because he missed like I think 2 3 foot. He also missed like a short putt in the playoff. Like you know, he nearly was apologizing to Rory because Rory really should have won it."
Mm-hmm.
And Rory just looked at him no, he didn't say like, "I know this is like I'm so unlucky, hit a perfect wedge shot and lost," or "I can't believe I've you know like
Yeah.
heartbroken. He's lost his moment to get his first two win." He just looked at Jeff, and he went, "Ah, don't worry about me, mate. I'll be all right."
Well,
Yeah.
That'll do.
that's probably a good way to wrap up. That was quite like that's like a thriller there, the way it just finished there.
Bit
So
of wisdom from Rob. Gotta love it.
Yeah, just Jordan.
Bit
That's
of different gravy wisdom.
the
you
different
gotta have that
gravy.
Thanks for that.
mindset.
The
You're
I
gonna.
mean,
different
You're just,
gravy wisdom. Yeah,
I
just
might
gotta have
have to.
that different gravy mindset.
I don't know
yeah.
how the bleeper thing works in this, but when you're describing the driver and how important it is to make it your what was it, Rob?
Make it your bitch.
That
Need to have a good look at this editing software, but yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for that.
you
We'll
got some
wrap it
work
up
to do,
there.
Ethan. Anyways, so.
I know that's it. So we'll wrap it up there. That was how to make it on tour and some other words of wisdom from Rob as well. But in the next few weeks, we're hoping, as I say, to try and nail down more of a structured schedule. At the minute, we can say it's going to be midweek, but that could be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So we'll hopefully try and get. I think Wednesday would be ideal, because you're well Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, obviously, the idea is that or Thursday.
He's
Actually,
already
no,
Or
changed
I'll
his
get
Thursday
back
or
to
mind.
you. I'll get
Friday.
back to you on that one. Stay tuned. But
We'll see you next year.
yeah, we'll try and get more guests on to chat. I mean, what we were saying, we played at University of Stirling. We can see the performance studio and Rob's background there. So we'll use our connections the best we can to get some good golfers on and pick their brains a little bit. So keep an eye out for that and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and yeah, see you in the next one.
Cheers, guys.